Hi folks, this is my next little contribution to this culture war we got going on. I think this photo, assuming that I'm able to get it into this video because I am a moron, really deserves a once over, and I don't feel like anyone has really ripped it apart to the extent that they probably should have. I know Mr. Salty did a video including this and talked about the issues, and I'm sure he slammed these people pretty good. I don't remember the specifics. But I really feel like someone could tear this image up a little bit more. You know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and this one sure as hell is. For anybody who doesn't know, these folks here are Texas Democratic lawmakers, I guess Congress folks or whatever, representatives, that are actively fleeing the state in their attempt to block a voter ID bill that the Republicans were trying to pass. Now, the whole concept of the voter ID bills being somehow oppressive or racist, and as the Biden administration calls it, like Jim Crow 2021, which is absurd because Jim Crow was laws in place to stop blacks from voting. Voter ID laws are just laws in place to make sure that everybody who votes is a legal citizen and everybody votes one time. But what they do, what the woke people do, is they make the argument that that is somehow racist because blacks, of course, could not get IDs at the same rate that whites could because blacks are apparently less competent than whites. I mean, there's no other way of explaining their rationale of calling this racist against blacks other than to say that they don't think that blacks are as competent. I hear such things from them as blacks don't know how to use the internet, blacks don't have access to the internet, blacks don't have computers, blacks don't know where the DMV is, blacks can't find the DMV, all sorts of stuff, which, I mean, if anyone stops and think about that, it's absurdly racist to hold those beliefs. It's ridiculous. I know plenty of black people. I don't know any black folk that don't know how to get an ID. I'm pretty sure they all have IDs. I've never asked them for it, but they all drive. They all take planes places. Of course they have IDs. It's ridiculous. There's a good Ami Horowitz video that breaks that down and shows that most people who believe that are disaffected white liberals that grow up in wealthy areas and don't have a clue what black people are or do or anything about them, really. And then when he went and talked to actually more on the side poor black people in lower income areas of Harlem, to a man and woman, every one of those black people thought it was racist to think that they couldn't get an ID, which is what any rational human being would think. But of course, the woke Democrats are not rational human beings. That's the first mistake, is to assume that they're rational human beings. They clearly are not. My nephew, his father was black, his wife was black, and they were visiting about a month or so ago. And we had this discussion, and he could not imagine that they were saying it was racist against blacks. He couldn't conceive of that. He said, no, it must be like new immigrants or something. I don't think he's thought it through very much because, you know, immigrants, if they're legal, have got IDs. They have to get an ID to become a legal immigrant. They've probably learned how to navigate the system. We require a fair amount of knowledge of the system for our new legal immigrants. So unless he was thinking maybe illegal immigrants, but that's obviously not thought through because illegal immigrants are not supposed to be voting. I mean, you have to be a citizen to vote. So anyhow, he just couldn't believe that anyone in the United States in 2021 would think that black people would have a hard time getting an ID. It is pretty absurd. It's literally like the mentality of the KKK to suggest that they somehow can't do that. It's ridiculous. And as you can see in the picture, it's not just white people that believe that. There's a black woman in that picture. And she's apparently going to hold that idea that, yeah, this is oppressive to my people. You know, they can't be expected to get IDs like other races. It's just, it's absurd. It's so absurd. I don't know why any black person is not completely fucking pissed off that someone would suggest that. I think maybe they're not, maybe they don't care and they're not paying attention or something, but any of the ones that I've talked to that knew it are like, that it's freaking ridiculous that anyone would think that. So anyhow, let's break this picture down. So they are leaving Texas so they can block this voter ID law. So they all have this sort of smug look in their face, like, look at us. Look at how smart we are. Look at how cool we are. We are social justice warriors, baby. They're doing a big old group selfie. Just look at the complete narcissism that has to be in these people. They are taking a picture during a COVID pandemic on a plane. It's a private plane, obviously. No one has a mask on. Now, these are the same people that are fighting that everyone should be wearing masks in places and certainly on planes. I mean, you can't get on a commercial plane if you're one of the plebs without a mask, and even your 2-year-old has to have a mask. But these people are just on there smiling their asses off. Look at us. You know, I don't think they're thinking, look at us, we don't have our masks on. I don't think they could even imagine the possibility that they should ever be held to the same level of accountability as the plebs that are their constituents. Like, no, not them. We're elite. Why would we wear masks? Why would we socially distance? Why would we not go out during a pandemic and get our hair and our nails done? That's for the rest of you. Freaking proletariat. Not us. So look at the picture more. You see this ass hat in the back with a hat on. It's got the thumbs up. Yeah, look at me. You know, everyone's got a big smile on their face. You got this dude back there with a gray and white beard. He's got the slee stack hand. It's like, They are totally full of themselves, totally beaming, and there's not an ounce of self-awareness at all in this picture to be doing this during a pandemic. And not surprisingly, well, I guess it is a little surprising, but 11 at least of these people have come down with COVID. This is another thing. They're all vaccinated, okay? They're all vaccinated, but it's the Democrats pushing the fact that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. It's only the unvaccinated. We're all so smart. We all got the vaccine, unlike you stupid plebs that wonder about long-term safety data and the fact that Fauci lies every time he opens his freaking mouth. Not us. No, we're smart. We just believe everything that the authority tells us because the authority could never lie. Yeah, so 11 of them have COVID. I understand that a lot of them are not socially distancing. Kamala Harris was exposed to all these people. She's refusing to socially distance, or in other words, refusing to do anything that she says you have to do. So just look at this picture. I would encourage you to pick this picture up on your images on the computer and just check it out and just soak in the arrogance, the narcissism, the entitlement, and the complete lack of self-awareness that is basically epitomizes our current woke Democratic Party that is actively doing their best to destroy this country. Uncle Salty out.